Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9. So today is a special occasion of Varāha Dvādaśī. So we will read about this verse in Bhagavad Gita, which speaks about the appearance and activities of the Lord. And with that, we will transition to a little bit about Lord Varāha Dev, his pastimes, and how we should understand the pastimes, the Leela of the Lord. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन. जन्म Janma. Please repeat Janma. Thank you. Birth. Karma. Work. Cha. Also. May. Of mind. Divyam. Transcendental. Evam. Like this. Yah. Anyone who. Vetti. Knows. Tattvavit. In reality. Tattvavit. Leaving aside. Deham. This body. Punah. Again. Janma. Birth. Na. Never. Eti. Does attain. Mam. Unto me. Eti. Does attain. Sah. He. Arjuna. O Arjuna. Translation and workout by Zivangara Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai. Translation: One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Please repeat. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Purport. The Lord's descent from his transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage. So what was explained in the 6th verse? We will just read that and come back here, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to you. अजोऽपि सन्न व्ययात्मा भूतानाम् ईश्वरोऽपि सन् प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय सम्भवाम्यात्ममायया. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So what is he saying? That let us actually see the verse prior to this as well. 4:5. Chapter 4, text 5. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. So this was the first hint of the difference of Krishna's birth versus our birth. That he can remember all of his previous births, but we cannot. Then the next hint is the 4:6, chapter 4, text 6, which we just read. What is that? Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates. And although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Very contrasting to our body. Our body deteriorates, right? The moment we are born, we say we are growing, but actually our countdown has already started towards death from the date of our birth, right? And it's just a matter of deterioration. Uh, Although it looks like development, but you know, it deteriorates actually. Um, Here he also says, I'm the Lord of all living entities. We are not the Lord of all living entities. That's another difference. By my internal energy, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Atma Maya means his own Maya. His own Maya. That means his own, uh, by his own energy. Whereas we are taking birth not by Atma Maya, but Mahamaya. Karmana Daivanetrena Jantur Dehopapataye Strishu, what is that? Pravishta Udaram. स्त्रियाः स्त्रियाः प्रविष्ट उदरं पुंसो रेतः कणाश्रयः. Personality of God, it said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work. See, this is the reason why we are taking birth. Why? According to the result of his work. So whatever we have done in our past life, accordingly we are taking birth in this life. Our body, our intelligence, our circumstances, everything depends on how we have acted in our past life. And the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. So we are basically forced or sentenced according to our actions. Like if I do something stupid and criminal, I will be sent to the jail. Yes, it was in, I chose that path, I can say. Uh, but it is the government's ruling that I have to be in the prison for say 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So, of course, according to my actions, but then the government decides for me. So, in that way, we are forced, basically. That's the point. Krishna says, Sambhavami Atma Maya. By my own internal energy, I am taking birth. I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. And this is the other thing, the last one. Every body that he is taking, every incarnation that he is coming in, it's the same body, my original transcendental form. Like we have a human body, sometimes we have a pig body, sometimes a dog body, sometimes fish. So we are changing our bodies. The Lord also seems to be changing his bodies. Matsya, fish, Kurma came as a tortoise, and then the Varaha came as a boar. Then there's Narsimha, half man, half lion. So in this way, there are different forms, right? No, it's not different form because Advaitamachyutamanadimanantarupam Agyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam cha. What is that? 533. Yeah. Yes. Advaitamachyutamanadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam cha Vedeshu Durlabhamadurlabhamatma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vajami. Advaitam. That means there is no Dvaitam. Of Of course, this is differently understood by monists. Advaita means, oh, everything is one. He's not talking about that here. Advaita means he is second to none. That's the meaning. Advaitam. He is never second to anyone. He is the first. There's only one and one only. So he is that Advaitam, unchallenged supreme. Yeah? Achyutam, he never falls down. Chutam means one who is fallible. Achyutam means one who does not fall. Anadim, he has no adi or beginning. He is the beginning of everything. Krishna is the beginning of everything. Now you may say, oh, Yashoda Maya is there, Nanda Maharaj is there, Vasudev Devaki is there. What is all this? How can you say he has no beginning? His father and mother were there. That's a whole different story. Why? Because when his devotees want to serve him as parents, he allows them to be parents and then he comes as their son. That does not mean that he actually was born only 5,000 years ago. Every day of Brahma, Krishna comes. Once every 8.64 billion years, Krishna comes every time in Gokul Vrindavan. Not only the last time it happened so that it was 5,000 years ago. Otherwise, every day of Brahma, Krishna comes. How long is day of Brahma? Satyayug, Tretayug, Dwapar Yug, Kali Yug. Right? Altogether 4.32 million years. This one cycle is 4.32 million years. 1,000 such cycles is one day of Brahma. Only daytime. Yeah? Sahasra Yuga Paryatam, 8th chapter, 17th verse of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying. That's the daytime of Brahma. And nighttime is similar. So the time equal to 2,000 cycles of the 4 yugas is 124 hours of Lord Brahma. So once in every 24 hours of Lord Brahma, Krishna comes on this earth. And the last time it happened so that it was only 5,000 years ago. So once in 8.64 billion years, he comes. Krishna comes. So it is not that Krishna was only born 5,000 years ago. Before that, there was no Krishna. No. So he's Anadim. And all of his forms are like that. All of his murtis, whether Narayana, Rama, Krishna, Varāha, all are eternal forms. All are eternal. None of them are temporary. Anantarupam. He has unlimited forms. At the same time, he is Advaitam. All those different forms are not competitors. Vishnu and Ram and Krishna are not competing with each other. They are the same one person, but unlimited forms. There's difference between us and him. Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. So we are Jiva Tattva. We cannot manifest such omnipotence and omniscience. Krishna can. So even when he comes as a fish, Matsya, or Kurma, tortoise, or Varāha, as a boar, or Narsimha as half man, half lion, or Parshuram, Vamana, as a dwarf. And these are just like Dashavatar, we say as if there are only 10 incarnations. No. Like waves in the ocean. Unlimited incarnations, avatars of the Lord. 10 are only selected, that's all. Just for some selection, that's all. Otherwise, there are unlimited incarnations. So Anantarupam Adyam, he is the origin. Purana Purusham, he is a very old person. That does not mean he is with white beard, a haggard old man, going to die. No. Navayoganamcha, always youthful. Ever new, ever youthful. Navayoganamcha. Vedeshu Durlabham. Even if we become expert at Vedic understanding Vedas, if we can chant the mantras very nicely or understand Sanskrit very perfectly, Durlabham. Vedeshu Durlabham. But Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. If one is a devotee, for him he is very easily attainable. Now you may think, then that means Vedic study is all for show off people who want to show off their Sanskrit expertise devotion means I don't need to know any Sanskrit. Not that. We should learn. Devotion means not that I should not do anything, that is only devotion. You know, there is one nice verse which says, Murkho vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave, Ubhayostu samam punyam bhavagrahi janardana. So, a person who does not know Sanskrit grammar may say Vishnaya, like we say Krishnaya, Ramaya, or Madhavaya, Keshavaya, Narayanaya. Somebody may say Vishnaya, but actually that is wrong, because Narayana, Madhava, Keshava ends with A, right? Like Va or Na, like that. But Vishnu, it ends with U ki matra, right? So it should not be Vishnaya, it should be Vishnave. Hari, Haraye. Okay? So that is Sanskrit grammar. Now, a person who is not conversant with grammar very well, who is not so literate, he may say Om Vishnaya. But the person who knows, he may say Om Vishnave Namaha. Now, it is not that the Lord will only accept the person who pronounced it correctly. Bhavagrahi Janardana, Ubhayostu Samam Punyam. Both of them get the same benefit because Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna accepts only the Bhava. With how much devotion he is calling me, that matters. Now, what is that devotion? This can be very easily misinterpreted, selectively misinterpreted. Because some people say, this verse is very nice, no? So I don't need to put any effort at all. Whatever I pronounce, Krishna will accept. That means, where is my bhava? I have no. If somebody is seriously, for example, when we go to China, they cannot pronounce our words very well. If we ask them to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they will say, Ali Krishna, 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 Hale, 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 Lama, Hale, Lama, 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 Hale. They pronounce like this. They cannot pronounce the Ra properly. But that does not mean that Krishna should reject them. Because they are trying their best. That's what matters. In the Ram Setu, which was built from Bharat to Lanka, Hanuman was throwing big boulders. The squirrels were putting some grains of sand, contributing for the bridge. Ramchandra Bhagavan, he said, what the Hanuman is doing and what the squirrel is doing is same for me. Hanuman is doing his best, throwing the biggest boulders, and the squirrel is the door open? Just close it. Hanuman is throwing the biggest boulders, whereas the squirrel is throwing his whatever he could, his best he is doing. If Hanuman does what the squirrel did, that is not Ubhayostu Samam Punyam. Ubhayostu Samam Punyam means both of them getting the same benefit, same merit in the service of the Lord. It's not the quantity. It's according to what capacity we are gifted with. How much are we investing that? That's why Prabhupada said very nicely, if two people give $10, say, as a donation, two people give $10. One person earns $100 a month, and another person earns 100,000 a month. Both of them putting $10 inside. For us, it's the same. That's our vision. Prabhupada said, Krishna does not see how much you give to him. Krishna sees how much you kept for yourself. That determines our surrender. How much percentage? How much are we surrendering to Krishna? There was this Brahmana, Kholavecha Sridhar, who was so poor that, his hut was fully open and, so many holes. And when it rains, it gets all wet. And he does these cups made of plantain leaves, banana leaves, and he sells them. How much you can get? And that's all it is. And from that, whatever he gets, half of it he uses for Ganga Puja, so that the Lord may be satisfied. Because Ganga is, from his Bhakta, what is that? Bhagavat Padajal. What is that? The water from the lotus feet of the Lord, Ganga. Right? So he wanted to serve Ganga. So half of whatever he earned, he spent for Ganga Puja. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted this. This is greatest devotee. Even though he's getting almost nothing, still half of it, his principle is use it for. Because that is actual standard for Grihastha. Brahmachari, whatever he begs, everything he has to give to Guru, who will use it in Krishna Seva. For the Grihastha, because he has family, other things, so half of it is allowed to keep, and other half he must give to the Guru. So this is the actual standard of our Vedic civilization. So that is the surrender. That is what surrender is. How much are we holding on to? So if I can pronounce well, if I put effort, if it can be better, then why am I not putting effort? That means where is my bhava? But if I'm trying my best and I still can't, and I'm giving it my all, and I should not be complacent also at the same time. Oh, I'm giving my best. How do you know? If I'm saying that I'm not doing my best. If I'm doing my best, I should say, okay, I will still try. I will still try to improve. Because there is always unlimited scope for improvement, right? Because I'm not dead yet. And as long as I'm alive, every day can be an improvement. So there's no end. So if I say that I'm trying my best, that's it. This is all I can do. That attitude is not correct bhava. So bhavagrahi janardana. So anyway, Vedeshu durlabham. By Vedas, he may not be able to be reached. Even if we study the entire Vedas, Mahapandit, still the Lord is unavailable. He's very cryptic. But Krishna says very enigmatically in the 15th chapter, 15th verse, he says, Vedas to survive, ahameva vedya. By all the Vedic study, I am to be known. I am the object of all the Vedas. I am the compiler of Vedas. Vedanta Krit. Vedavid. I am the knower of the Vedas. I am the compiler of the Vedas. I am the object of knowledge of the Vedas. And yet, Vedesha Durlabham. That is so. What kind of a paradox is that? It's very paradoxical, right? On one side, Vedas are meant to point us to Krishna. And here, by Vedas, you can never understand Krishna. So what is the harmonizing factor in these two statements? How can they be reconciled? The thing is, it's not just the text or the memorization of the text or the erudite scholarship in that language. None of that is the entry point to understand God. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. These Vedas have to be studied with bhakti. There are so many Vedic scholars. For example, our first Indian president, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, great Sanskrit scholar. He wrote a whole tika on Bhagavad Gita, whole commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Sorry to say, but complete rubbish. He did not accept that Krishna is Bhagavan. When Krishna said, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, he spoke in very plain Sanskrit. It's not like very cryptic Sanskrit also. Very, very plain. If you elementary Sanskrit, if you learn, you can understand that verse of Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Who cannot understand this? Whoever knows in any Indian language will half understand this shloka already. You know, still our Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, PhD in Sanskrit, okay, he said, no, it is not to Krishna that we have to surrender, but it is to that supreme Ishwar within Krishna. He does not know that there is no difference between within and without Krishna. Unlike us, our sharir is there, and within us there is the we are there. Yeah? Within our body, we are there. So there is a difference between the external and the internal. In our case, Krishna, there is no difference between soul and body. Abhinnatva nama namino. His name and his self, no difference. So, because he does not understand the nature of Krishna, he made this mistake. And not just one, all the way, he was denying the supremacy, the personality of Krishna. Always, these people try to project or explain God as an impersonal entity. They say if you say God is a person, you're limiting him to a dimension, three-dimensional size and form, and if he's here, then he cannot be there. If he has two eyes, then he cannot see everywhere. This is how we calculate. Oh, that's very limited. You can't limit God, so he must be unlimited, which means he should be having no form. They try to logically understand God. But there is a beautiful verse. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmaya sadujjvala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. You see, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. You see, this is the most important part. So sorry. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. What is the meaning? Although he has two eyes, with every single hair on his body, he can see. With his eyes, he can taste. With his fingers, he can smell. Every part of his body does the function of every other part. So we may think that it is limited if he has a figure, but that does not limit him at all. In fact, if we say that he cannot have a figure because figure limits him, that means he's limited. Oh, he cannot have a figure, so he's limited that he can't have a figure. That is limited. He should be able to have a figure and he should still be omnipresent. That is unlimited. That is real God. For us, it is like if this or that. For Krishna, it doesn't work like that. This and that. So once Prabhupada was asked this question, can Krishna create something that he cannot lift? Somebody wanted to catch Prabhupada. See, now nobody can enter that room. Prabhu, When you close the door, turn the lock on so that it doesn't. Basics. No, did you turn it? No. If you pull it, it will be closed now. It will be locked. How many times I have to waste my time for this? Um, so where were we? So he is omnipotent, is omnipresent. Yeah, Prabhupada was asked this question. Yes, can Krishna create something which he cannot lift? Yeah. If Prabhupada say yes, he can create, that means he cannot lift. No, he cannot create anything that he cannot lift. That means he should be able to lift everything. That means he cannot create something that he cannot lift. So either way, Krishna cannot. So he wanted to ask this cryptic question. So Prabhupada simply said, yes, he can create, and after that he will lift it. That's it. So for us, it is like a big puzzle. For example, um, he was tied to that grinding mortar. It's usually a child cannot move, but then he moved it. He moved it so hard that the trees, two trees, not one, two Yamalarjun trees, huge, very very tall trees, standing there for thousands of years, not just like 100 years, thousands of years they were standing, and he went through them, and then both trees uprooted and fell. And then after that again he is acting as if he's just stuck, something fell, like this. So like that, he's just so he does everything. He acts like as if he's like a small child, helpless child, right? But when Putana came, killed her, as if sucking her breast for milk, but sucked out her life. Looks helpless baby, but for the mother, yeah, he's helpless. He has to drink her milk, otherwise he cannot survive. But actually, does he need? No. But that is to enhance the love of his devotee. But then on the other side, if the demon comes, kill straight. So there's nothing that limits him. That is unlimited. And when he opened his mouth, she saw entire universe in his mouth. Saw herself also looking into his mouth, inside the mouth of Krishna. So tripping, she went. So that's how Krishna is. So anyway, Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham. So he has these multi forms. All of them Vishnu Tattva. So today is Varāha Dvādaśī. So we already half of the time finished explaining just the prelude. Now, in Varāha Dvādaśī, Varāha Avatar, if you see, he took the form of a boar. Now, a pig is not a very high class animal also. If you say at least cow or something, okay, some auspicious animal. But what is this pig? Why that kind of form? He could have taken on some more dignified form, right? Why pig of all, always in garbage? If you see in India, pig is always in garbage, drainage everywhere. That is where pig will be. So why did he choose that kind of form? Of course, in this avatar roop, he had the tusk, the wild boar. But even that, what kind of? At least lion is more regal. Tiger, at least the power, at least is there. Something is there. Big goat is there. Shape is also not so good. Strength is also not so good. Size is also not so good. Nothing so special about Krishna. But he took this form. Why? So we can understand one thing. See, whatever bad qualities or inferior qualities that may have, that may be observed, I should say, these qualities do not apply to the Lord's body at all. Only in this world, the material bodies have these defects. If you see in the Dashavatar, fish, Matsya, Matsya, fish avatar, I mean, that body, among all the 8.4 million species of life, the fish are 900,000 of them. You know this? We have a full breakdown of the species. I was appalled when I saw the modern scientific figure. I just wanted to test what is the modern scientific figure of how many species in the water. Okay, let's first see what the Vishnu Puran says. I think it's not actually Vishnu Puran, although here it says it's Vishnu Puran. It's actually from Padma Puran. We have actually found out the exact chapter and verse and the khanda of this. I don't have it right now. Anyway, this is the shloka. Jalajanaka lakshani sthavara lakshavinshati krimayorudra sankhyankaha pakshinam dasalakshanam trimshal lakshani pashavah chatur lakshani manushaha. There are 900,000 species living in the water. 2 million non-moving living entities such as trees and plants. 1.1 million species of insects and reptiles. 1 million species of birds. 3 million species of quadrupeds, four-legged animals, and 400,000 human species. You may say, what is this? What is human species? Well, we call them race, but human species, and even the devatas, they are all human species, much more higher grade human species. All of them are counted within this 400,000. And when this number is given, this is not just on the earth, it's in the entire universe as a whole, in one universe. So modern scientists, I just found out a few months ago, 35,000 species of aquatics in the water. 35,000, a meager 35,000. Here is 900,000 species. So this is the, imagine the National Geographic guy who's going with his underwater camera in a scuba diving suit and a submersible machine and taking out all the video footage of everything, wasting his life basically to finding out and meditating on these fish, running the risk of becoming a fish in his next life because he's meditating so much on that form, because that's what Bhagavad Gita says. Yam yam vapismaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. So whatever we meditate most on in life, that will remain as the predominant thought at the time of death. That will propel us to the next body in that form. So if I keep a pet dog and I'm always cuddling and very attached to the dog, very good. Next life, dog. It's not it's all good cutesy pictures for Instagram. Yeah, you can post on the stories. What is your story next life? That you better worry about that story first. Don't worry about Instagram story. Yeah? So that's what happened to Bharat Maharaj. He went into the forest, left his wife, kingdom, children, everything, undisputed kingdom. Got attached to a deer just because he saw that mother was killed and that this baby deer was born. So took care, and in that way, what happened? He became a deer next one. Keeping pets is very dangerous. Getting attached to them very dangerous. Sometimes nowadays it's fashion to say that, oh, he's my son. You're a human, your son is a dog. What is it? And Krishna is also saying as Paramatma, oh, your son is dog, you also be dog. Or if I want to eat meat, okay. Next level become tiger. Eat only meat, nothing else. The fruit also you spit. So he will Krishna will make arrangement if we want really. So he is just imagine now all that geographic, what is National Geographic and Discovery Channel and this and that. They're going down and doing so much research and new species and new DNA, something, photograph this and that, wasting their whole lives. Whereas here, one sloka we have, Padma Puran, Jalaja Navalaksha, 900,000 species in water, done. Let me not waste my time. What is else? What else is there in life for me to explore? This is the advantage of our Vedic scriptures. We think that these, Shastra is all, yeah, these people, don't have nothing to do with life, they'll sit down and discuss all these things. Let us do more scientific things, build this, what is this, precision engineering, optics and something, whatever, big names. What are you doing? Looking at stars, looking at a microscope of bacteria. What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? We have to know who we are first. What is the use of PhD if I don't even have ABCD knowledge about myself? Like, I don't even know who I am. A big educated person. What is the meaning of that education? So, in order to enable us to focus on that most important part of knowledge, which is Adhyatmika Jnana, the spiritual knowledge. Who am I? What is the soul? Therefore, in order to satisfy that curiosity, and at the same time, kind of give us enough knowledge about this world so that, okay, I understand now. Okay, this is more important. That's the whole point. Instead of, oh, what is there in the water? Let's actually go and see. That's one way of exploring the world. And, another way is, okay, the Shastra says, okay, fine. Creator is saying, that's it. I don't need to go into the water, jump around and maybe eaten by a shark or whatever. I don't have to do all these things. No? And 2 million types of trees. And 1.1 million types of insects. And all these are already mentioned. Extra research is not needed. Now you may say, oh, some are herbs, some are vegetables, some are poisonous. You should know, right? Yes, that is also given. Whatever is useful for our maintenance of the body is also given in Ayurveda. What is a medicine? What is food? What is poison? What is detrimental to our health? Not maybe immediate poison, but slow poison kind of thing. And there is other food also, which is like meat. But this is for those people who are tamasik, who want to go to hell. Yes, that facility is there if you want. So there's everywhere, whether you want to go up or go down, whichever way, options are there, multifaried options, whichever way you want to go. And if you want to go back to Krishna Prasadam, that's all. So in this way, there are Vedas give us all types of knowledge. Now, if you see in the Dashavatar, the fish, you see the most lowest form of life is fish. Matsya. He took in that form. But when he took that form, he will not do something ordinary. You know how long was that fish? Matsya. We think blue whale is the biggest whale. Then there are Timingalas. Those whales will eat up these whales like as if they're krill. You know what is a krill? Krill are such small fish. Timingalas, they eat up these blue whales as if the blue whales are krills. Such huge monsters. And where are they? They're not in this ocean. They cannot fit here. They can hardly fit here. They are in other oceans, in other planets, and even in the Garbhodaka ocean. Half of the universe is actually filled with ocean. The perspiration of Lord Vishnu. And on that lies the Lord of the Anantasesh. And from his navel comes the lotus flower, and Brahma is born, and he creates the whole universe. So this is the Vedic explanation of creation. Now, you say that's not scientific at all. Well, it is. That's a whole another long topic. But the point I was trying to make is, how long was that? Even Timingalas would fade in comparison to the length of Matsya. 8 million miles long. 8 million miles long. And he had this narwhal. Narwhal? Have you seen a narwhal? Thanks to National Geographic. I long ago saw a documentary on Arctic life, water, aquatic life. So there's this whale called the narwhal. So in that narwhal, they have this huge antenna-like thing, spear-like thing, sharp pointed thing. So Matsya had that as well. But he was 8 million miles long. So even though as a fish, no ordinary fish, 8 million mile long fish where will get, and golden, and rescued the Vedas. So the Lord, whenever he comes, seemingly so-called inferior body, but he far, far outclasses and surpasses every other living entity, even the topmost of the Devatas. Next, Kurma, tortoise, another dull animal. I mean, material world dull, slow as anything. I mean, slow as a tortoise, right? That's the emblem of slowness. So, but he took tortoise. And what he did with that, in that Leela, the Mandara mountain, Mandara mountain is one of the mountains and the sides of Meru mountain. Again, Meru, Mandara, not on the earth geography, on the known earth's geography as what we know the earth today. But it's actually on the Bhumandal, in the center of the Bhumandal. And the whole structure is another whole discussion. It's like a huge topic. But anyway, it's a huge mountain, far, far, far bigger than Mount Everest. Mount Everest is like tiny, some dust compared to Mandara mountain. So this Mandara mountain was on his back, the shell. And the demons and the Devatas and the Danavas, they were both using the Vasuki snake as the rope, and Samudra Manthan was going on. The whole ocean was being churned. What ocean was this? Pacific Ocean? Mandara mountain wouldn't fit in Pacific Ocean. Mandara mountain is too big for Pacific Ocean. It's not on Earth. It's not on this Earth that we know. So when we see these, when we hear of these incidences, they are not just some mythical or even Hindus, so-called Hindus. First of all, our religion is not Hindu. Please don't say Hindus, because Hindu word doesn't exist in our Shastra. Sanatana Dharma, first of all. Okay. We ourselves say this is Hindu mythology. What is this? Hindu mythology. Varāha mythology. Matsya mythology. Doesn't make scientific sense. Let me not even say this in any scientific setting, because I will be made a fool if I say this kind of things. We are so ashamed of our Shastra. And why? And we should not be also stupidly proud. Like, proud for no reason, without understanding why you are proud. When many people say, I'm proud to be Indian. Okay, why you are proud? Why? Okay, all temples are there, or very spiritual culture. Okay, fine, spiritual culture. What did you understand about spiritual? Who are you? Who is God? Do you have very clear conception? How clear are you about this understanding? You are not sure what is what. Why are you proud then? So this empty pride and what is that? Shame in our past, this Shastric knowledge that this is all doesn't sound scientific. What is this ocean and pig and God in pig's form? If I tell this to the Christians, they will laugh at me. This kind of inferiority complex, because we don't have enough understanding of our own religion. So either of them are bad. What we should rather have is thorough understanding of what is this. What is actually being said here? This is my prime problem with Chandrayaan mission. The ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization head, he said that, see, we don't have any disparity between science and religion, because, to be very honest, before our launch to the moon, we went to Tirupati Balaji for blessings and then sent the Chandrayaan. See, we don't find any contradiction. We pray to the Lord, at the same time we are pushing science forward. So why we should be either scientific or religious? We can be scientific and religious. Now it sounds very nice. Oh wow, this is ultimate. But that's just only a soundbite, sentimental value only. But what? Okay. Now if we actually put religion is not something to be blindly accepted. No, it should be scientifically accepted. Arjuna was asking questions just prior to this 4:9. Today we are studying chapter 4, text 9, right? 4, 1, 2, 3. First three verses. Krishna, you know what he said to Arjuna? He was going in his flow. He was saying, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave brahma. Nonchalantly he said, what did he say? I spoke this same science actually previously to the sun god Vivaswan. His name is Vivaswan. I spoke to him. He spoke to his son Manu, and Manu, he spoke to his son Ikshvaku. And he went on. Next verse he went Evam Parampara Praptam. He was going in his flow. And like that it was coming down, in disciplic succession, Guru Shishya Parampara, the knowledge is coming down, but over time it became lost. So Arjuna, now I'm repeating to you the same knowledge which I spoke to Sun God. And then he was going, Arjuna stopped him. Wait a minute, what did you say? You see Arjuna's question. He did not let Krishna continue. He wanted some clarification. He did not challenge him, but he wanted clarification. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah katham etad vijaniyam tvamadau proktavaniti. Because he knows Ikshvaku means Surya Vamsha. That is Ramachandra's line. Ramachandra came once, Ikshvaku is before Ramachandra. You only are my contemporary. What are you talking? Something is off. Then, so Arjuna, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? You know how much more senior? 120 million years ago. If Krishna said, I spoke to sun god, means if you do the calculation math, 120.4 million years back, he would have spoken to the sun god. So, how did that happen? So, that's when Krishna said these two words. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Bahuni me vyatitane janmane tava charjuna. Tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vethaparam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. O Sabhiro. That means in my previous birth, in one of my previous births, I spoke to some God. And you know what? You also were there. But you don't remember it. I do. So he clarified. So this is how we should accept Vedic knowledge. Not simply said, okay. That means you have no brain. An intelligent person will question. Of course, we should accept whatever Krishna said. But not blindly. Like you see, Arjuna is accepting whatever Krishna is saying. He did not challenge Krishna that, I don't think you spoke. He did not say that. No, how am I to understand that you spoke to him? In my mind, I am unable to reconcile these things. Please clarify this for me. It's a submissive inquiry, not a challenging inquiry. If he said 120, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think you spoke. You're lying. Prove it to me that you spoke. He did not ask in that tone. How am I to understand that you spoke to him? He's senior by birth to you. How does that work? So that's different questioning, right? So we have to question. We have to accept it scientifically. So if this ISRO chairman is saying, we have no difference, I mean, we have no disparity, science, religion, all together, okay, fine. And we happily go to sleep every night. The spacecraft is going to moon, we are sleeping. Aram se. So, sounds all good, right? But my question is this. If you are very religiously oriented, then in your religion books, in our own books, Vedas, there is mention of the quality of life on Chandraloka, right? There is Somarasa. Somaras, which is the beverage on the moon. Moon is famous for this, all over the universe, for Somaras. Somaras is a beverage. It's not like a liquor, like the beer, tiger beer you get in a coffee shop. It's a beverage which is in the sattva gun. It's not like tamasic beverage. It's a sattvic beverage, so strong that the men used to get vitality 10,000 elephants, and the strength also, and the lifetime also increases. So there's a beverage there. Our Chandrayaan went. Forget about Somaras. Forget about water. Air is also not there. Now, I must question if I'm really serious in both, if I'm scientifically, invested in this Chandrayaan mission, and I'm also as religious, then if I actually am religious, I should read those books also, study those documents as well, right? But that's the first thing they don't do. They're just sentimentally attached because their parents, family, whatever. It's just a cursory side dish of life, not the main course of life. Chutney of life. Religion is one chutney of life, not the main course. So yeah, pray, please, Balaji. You want to go to the moon? Please take us to the moon. Blessings. That's all. They're not interested. Balaji, please make us understand. Actually, in your scripture, there is moon is Chandralok is mentioned like this in the Vedas. Now, if it goes there, now it went there already, na? Now the Chandrayaan is air is also not there. So how am I to understand? Give me the intelligence, oh Lord. No, this is the problem. When Chandrayaan landed there, everybody was celebrating. I was like, what? Until now, I did not make the video on it. Somehow, I wanted to make immediately that video. My thing was, how come nobody is perplexed? Not one soul. Vedas is saying in one way, and the camera is showing in another way. So should I now believe my Vedas or throw it away? What is the use then? Showing something else is what is the throw another? No. Mera Bharat Mahan, Hindutva, Jai Shri Ram, all this you will say. For what? If you don't have any faith in that books. And if you have faith, then you will look like a fool because your camera doesn't show the same thing. You're stuck between the devil and the deep sea. So what should I do now? So they have relegated religion to a kind of faith only. But there can be there is a very, very nice scientific understanding of why the Vedas describe it in one way and why we see it in a different way. And if we understand that, we will begin to have a little bit glimpse about the power of how Maya is actually working. How illusory the whole thing is. Far more illusory than any modern scientist, even the quantum mechanics, the theory of relativity of Albert Einstein, Max Planck, none of them come anywhere close. Once you understand, actually, from the Surya Siddhanta and from the Purana, the Puranic cosmology, the Siddhantic cosmology, if you study them both and in juxtaposition of the modern cosmology, you will find that it's amazing how Krishna engineered the whole thing in such a way that each will think he is right and each of them are looking at the same thing, but everybody is having a different perspective. It's wonderful how wonderful Krishna actually does that. And there's a whole, that has to be another whole video on its own. But It's very scientific. Why is actually mentioned? In fact, life is like that on the moon planet and even on the sun. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Vivasvan. What is that? Imam Vivasvate Yogam. I spoke this to the sun god, he's saying. Now you cannot believe that word if you believe this modern science. Sun, what you can speak there? Millions of miles away, you're burned to death already. What you can go and speak there? Who is going to live there and speak there? How come they're having Bhagavad Gita discussions on the sun planet? Nuclear explosions are going on there. What Bhagavad Gita discussions are going on? You may ask. That's how it appears to us. On the earth, we need an earthly body to live here. On the sun, they need fiery bodies and they can comfortably live there. In fact, the sun is actually one of the heavenly planets. It looks like hell from here, but it's not. It's the beginning of the heavenly realm. The Svargaloka, whole the orbit of the sun is the entrance to the Svargaloka planetary system. Imagine, and it's the leader of all the planets. We are so incapable that we are unable to fathom the existence, how sun is existing, how life can exist on the sun or on the moon. We can't. We can't fathom it. With these senses, we can't. It's like this. I'll give you a simple example, a simple analogy, so that you can get a little bit of an idea. Okay. Now I'll give you a pen drive, thumb drive, and I'll say, in this, you will find beautiful sceneries and waterfalls and many pictures, videos, audio, beautiful sounds, and everything. I'll give you that, and you look at it, and you try to open it. What sound? What sceneries? You open it, you'll find some green chip with soldered metal. What are you talking about? Nothing there. That's one way of looking at it. Another way is you plug it into a device with the necessary hardware. Now you can access on the screen. So it is there in that thing, but it has to be accessed differently. The child who may look at that thing, or a person who doesn't understand this technology who looks at that thing, he's also looking at the thing, and the person who is putting into the computer and looking at the screen, he's also looking at the thing, but differently. He's not looking at the thing, like that. He's looking here, although the thing is here. So it's subtly projected somewhere else. So you are accessing that only. Both the child and the adult, both are accessing the same thing, but different instrument. Similarly, our senses, our present senses do not allow us to perceive what is on the moon or the sun. We can't. It's like we looking at that green soldered chipboard and what is this? What is there? Nothing is there. But if we have, because the life on the moon and the sun, they're very subtle. It's not like here, gross body like this. It's a very subtle body. Even ghosts, forget about moon and sun. Even on the earth, there are ghosts. Subtle body. They don't have a gross body like this. But they're there. Everywhere they are there. But we can't see them even here. Right? Forget about ghosts. I always give this example every time. This also, thanks to again National Geographic Channel. As much as I make fun of it, but it corroborates what the statements of Shastra. So sometimes I use those examples to corroborate Shastric statements. So there was this video of tiger and deer. So the tiger was just, so this guy, he was filming, and the deer was here eating grass, and the tiger was just in front, just a little bit distance, maybe at that wall there. And he was just here eating, nibbling on the grass. He couldn't see the tiger. The tiger was just laying still. And he couldn't see at all. I was wondering, what is wrong with this deer? He doesn't like himself or what? Suicidal or what? Then, as I was thinking, the commentator actually, he said, you might be wondering why the deer can't see the tiger. Yeah, I wonder why. Then he said, it's because we see three colors and combinations of those three colors. RGB, red, green, blue. Yeah, combinations of those. Now, the deer only sees combinations of two colors. due to which he cannot see the orange. And especially if it moves, he can see, because that's unnatural. Something is moving, it's unnatural. Otherwise, he just completely blends in. So they, the whole screen, the video, they made it in such a way that how it appears to the deer, and it was magical. The tiger completely disappeared. You can't see the tiger. It looks like it's just the surroundings. Camouflage, so camouflaged. So look at that. We are looking at the same tiger. The deer is looking at the same. The deer cannot see, we can see. Why am I saying this? Because we will be looking at the same moon or the same sun, but we cannot see what other beings empowered with higher sensory powers can see, but we can't. For us, it looks uninhabitable, completely desolate, and the whole universe looks empty, devoid of life, deserted. We're the only lone rangers in this universe. But second chapter, 24th verse says, Sarvaga. Every single planet is teeming with life, fully, as dense as on this planet. Every single planet is full of life, teeming with life. Not just like somewhere bacteria, some underground cave, or no, everywhere, even on Mars, everywhere. You just need a suitable body to live there. You think God created the entire vast everything and just populated one small speck of dust in that? Doesn't make any sense. If I'm a real estate developer, if I develop a whole estate, I expect it to be occupied. I don't create something which one occupied and entire thing is desolate. No. So then why don't we see? So we are cut off from that vision, completely siloed, and we cannot perceive, fathom existence other than ourselves. And we are trying to colonize Mars now. It's not going to happen. It will never happen. Let them try. These attempts were made before also. Ravan also wanted to build a staircase to heaven. And he was much more capable than Elon Musk. Way more capable. He went to all those heavenly planets and came back also. Elon Musk hasn't done that yet. Ravan's son was Indrajit, who went to the heavenly planets, met the king of the heavenly planets, defeated him, came back. Unka baap hai Ravan. Now imagine. Okay? That is Ravan. And he wanted to build a staircase to heaven so that even common man can go. Of course, it's not an ordinary staircase, because even on this earth, nobody can climb that kind of staircase. Some kind of escalator, whatever. By yogic power, he could have done. But it failed. Vishwamitra also wanted to send this one, Trishanku. What happened? The Devdas, they pushed him down. He pushed up, pushed down. He was suspended in the space. Now today we have two people suspended in the International Space Station, like Trishanku. Cannot come down, cannot go up. Stuck. Can't even save those two people to come down. They want to go to Mars and come back. Two people are stuck there for 8 months, unable to bring them back. They want to go to Mars and come back. Good luck. With all that radiation, no chance. Even if they go there, okay, let's give it to them. Go there. They went, successfully landed on Mars. What did you achieve? Why are you so excited when were you so excited to go to the desert? Sahara Desert on the earth, you don't want to go. Mars, you want to go. And do what? And bring back some soil, some rocks. That's all you want to do. If a child goes out somewhere and bring back some soil and rocks, the mother will give him a tight slap. What are you doing? And these scientists are going all the way there and trying to bring back some rock and salt. It's childish things. These are all childish. All these are going on because they don't accept Vedas. Vedas have all sitting in one place. You can know about everything, so that you don't have to waste your time in this so-called exploration. And like recently that Elon Musk, famous, he caught the booster, right? I mean that, what is that called? The launcher thing. Returned back to Earth, caught it with those chopsticks. I'm not denying. Great engineering feat. Undeniable. What is the use? What is the ultimate use? Yeah, you can put satellite. Yeah, I'm not saying all that is yes. But we should embark on such a journey that we should never come back. Go to Vaikuntha, kingdom of God. First of all, even no, he's only concerned Mars, 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 Mars. There are so many planets in the material world. But beyond this material world, there's other types of planets in the spiritual world. Know about them and make your journey to the best planet. Elon Musk is after Mars. We are also after that kind of a program only, but after Golok Vrindavan. We want to go to another planet also, Golok Vrindavan planet, where Krishna's planet. That is Krishna's planet. We want to go there. But we don't want to returnable rocket and come back here. No. We don't want chopstick business. We want to go back and never come back. Yadgatva nani vartante tadhama paramam mama. So anyway, we do not even really go into the cosmology of the Vedic thing, Vedic cosmology, because Varahadev, if we want to really discuss Varahadev Leela, we have to understand Vedic cosmology a little bit at least, because the ocean from which Varahadev, lifted the earth. Because if you see the Varaha, I mean the wild boar, he will dig the earth, right, and make tunnels and burrow and go inside and stay there. Did you see at least videos? Thanks to again National Geographic. So he does that. He digs with his tusk and then goes and lives there. So the same thing, actually, why does that wild boar does that? Because the original Lord, he does that. He did that. He also did the same thing, but the whole earth, instead of just little bit soil, the whole earth he lifted. This is the Lord. And because it's from a depth of the underbelly of the universe, so because it's considered lower part is always, because the hellish planets and everything are at the lowest. So anything that is low is dirty, and anything higher is more spiritually elevated, cleaner in the heart, mind, everywhere, at all levels. So because it's from a dirty place and he has to lift it, therefore he took the form of a boar. But then when he touches anything, everything, Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastham gatopi va yas maret pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantara suchi. Everything becomes purified. So we can speak for hours and hours on Varaha Leela actually. And it means a lot to me actually, because when I was a teenager, I made fun of Varahadev's story. When I was, I think, 14, 15, before I became a devotee, I got some book about Tirupati Balaji deity story. And I was a very science-oriented student, trying to study physics and mathematics way beyond my syllabus, just as a hobby. I was trying to study Einstein's theory of relativity, trying to get into quantum physics, and just to explore more scientifically. So when I read first page, the earth fell into the ocean and the Lord lifted the earth from the ocean. I was like, started laughing. So look at this nonsense. How is earth being lifted from the ocean when ocean is on the earth? What kind of an explanation is this? This is why nobody takes any interest in our religion. What is this? This is totally illogical. And that's how it would appear to you. And they did not care to explain what ocean is this. And why is that ocean there? Where is this ocean? Never bothered. Because mythology, everything goes, just right now, ocean. Who knows? Let them figure out. If they cannot figure out, then just respect, that's all, respect. I will never bow down to such, so-called, what is that? I was like that. I wouldn't bow down to anything that is not explained properly. Like if it doesn't make sense, I'm sorry, I cannot accept. So I was like that. So, but when I started reading the Bhagavad Gita, so funny thing, 1 year later, one brahmachari came to my college and then asked me to take the Bhagavad Gita. Immediately that story only came to my mind. It doesn't make sense, I do not know what Bhagavad Gita was, but I remember the story of Varahadev. And I was respectful, but at the same time, I was skeptical, like how good it will be, how much can it help me? Because I want scientific answers. So that Brahmachari told me, you may have many questions, all answers are there in Bhagavad Gita. I said, okay, you know what? I'll actually try it. And when I started reading, I was so satisfied with how Prabhupada explained everything so scientifically. And then I was hooked. After that, I gave up all the physics, so-called mathematics. I was least interested because all that did not make any more sense. Completely faded in comparison with the amount and the scope and the scale of knowledge that was mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Nothing comes close. So then, oh wow, this is too good. Then that's how I became hooked to that book, and then eventually I came to Singapore. So the thing is, we should be interested in proper understanding of these things, of this Shastra. And if we are not understanding, first of all, we should apply ourselves to the process and then submissive inquiry. That's the proper way. In fact, before we close, this is the proper way to approach this knowledge. Because firstly, this knowledge is given by Krishna. Okay? Even if we blindly accept it, we will never go wrong. We will never go wrong. But if somebody questions us, we should be able to defend it. We will not be able to defend it if we ourselves have not gone through every single argument of this knowledge. Like, how did I come to accept it? Just because Krishna said, well and good. That's actually the only criterion you really need. Because Krishna said, and He's perfect, He's the creator. So whatever He says, He will never lie to us. Yes. But then we should also understand. And the reason why I was very much interested, especially after Chandrayaan, I wanted to know more about the moon and the structure of the cosmology and the position of the moon and how is it, what is the distance and what is the life like on the moon, why we are not seeing it. I became more curious, not because I was so interested in the moon. I wasn't. Because we know from Bhagavad Gita that even if you go to the Brahmalok, which is far higher than the moon, still we have to come back. Birth and death is there, and even on the moon or the Brahmalok also there. Why was I interested? Because I wanted to defend our Vedas. Because if Chandrayaan goes and then everybody says, oh, Chandrayaan, we are now, scientifically advanced, then you have thrown your Vedas in the dustbin. That means you have completely rejected any description of Somaras or Chandradev or the palaces on the Chandralok. All those you have rejected. Nothing. Symbolically, you are saying Jai Sri Ram and this and that, Jai Sri Krishna and this and that. But who is Nastik? Not simply who says, oh, I don't believe in God. Who doesn't believe in God's word is also Nastik. Vedana Maniya Bauddha Vaita Nastik. Because there is no difference between God and His word. Non-different. Krishna and His name are non-different. Krishna and His teachings are non-different. So when you read Bhagavad Gita, you are as good as you are on the battlefield at the time when Krishna was speaking to Arjuna. It's as good. It's not simply something less of an experience than what Arjuna experienced. No. If we take it in as much earnestness as Arjuna did, we will have exactly the same result as Arjuna did. So, there is nothing that will stop Krishna and His word, and there's no difference. So, we have to accept it in toto, whatever Krishna said. But then, we have to, like Arjuna, ask questions. Why did Arjuna ask questions? So that to make clear for not only himself, actually, you know what? He is a devotee of Krishna, he knows everything. He asked these questions so that others who will have these questions in the future can have answers from this. So we have to think that not only I accept what Krishna said, I should also repeat to others what Krishna said. And when I repeat, there's no guarantee that others will accept what I say. They will question me. And if at that time I won't be able to defend Krishna, I will bring Krishna a bad name. I will cause insult to Krishna because I am not representing his knowledge properly. And if somebody is asking, I am unable to answer, then I'm misrepresenting Krishna. And I don't have answers to. So that's why I have to know. To serve Krishna. So when Chandrayaan thing happened, I wanted to learn about moon and all these things because I want to answer them. I want to actually show them that Hey, you have completely forgotten about everything. Okay, here. This is actually what our Vedas say, and this is what really what India should be doing, not simply being proud of sending some machine to the moon. That's we have much more things to be proud of and much higher things than this. You're just falling for this cheap trick of the so-called Americans, who first of all never went to the moon in 1969. Let's be honest. We have all been taught this thing when we were in childhood that oh man landed on the moon 1969. They never went to the moon. Never went. Hoax, biggest hoax of the 20th century. Many of us don't even believe, oh, this guy is conspiracy theorist. But no, they never went. 1969 sloppy technology, you think they have managed? They cannot. Even now, until now, they haven't gone. Now, at 1969, if they can go to the moon, today they should be having school excursions. Children should be going and coming back picnic, moon picnic. Why they're not doing? Now, still sending only with a machine only, not not confident to send man. Now also, now, how did you send in 1969? Went and came back also. You know how much improbable it is actually to go and come back. They have never done it. We have the whole proof of what exactly they did, and there are enough videos about it, full footage, like nothing. You don't need to edit anything. You just see the footage, just starting to ending. You just see, you can understand what stupidity they did there. And then we were the stupids to accept it. Now, when I say this, people say, "How can you say like that? How can you? Why are you challenging me?" There was one time, one guy asked me like, this, "How can you say like that? How are you saying like that?" Everybody is, it was on the TV and all that. But who cannot make a simple show? Anybody can fool anybody. So these things are possible. Easy to fool people. If this is called Operation Mockingbird, this is a whole another. It's a media illusion. Another whole story on its own. It's a whole rabbit hole on its own. So anyway, we'll stop it here. It's very late. Yeah. Mm.
In the Bhagavad, it's mentioned about Varāha Dvādaśī, two pandits are there, one in
Mm.
Chakshusha and another one is Swayam. So why two pandits are there?
So there is actually not only a Varaha, many avatars have this Kalpa Bheda. That means different Kalpa, they have slightly variated versions of the pastimes. Um, the red Varaha is when he fought Hiranyaksha. The Shweta Varaha, uh, yeah, inattention and then slipped out. So slipped out of the orbit and then he picked up the earth from. So there was no fighting with Hiranyaksha in the Shweta Varaha Kalpa. We are in the Shweta Varaha Kalpa. We even in our Sankalpa we always say Shweta Varaha Kalpa. Vaivasvata Manvantare. कलियुगे प्रथम पादे जम्बुद्वीपे भरतवर्षे भरतखंडे मेरोः दक्षिण पार्श्वे. So we always say this in the beginning of every yajna or ritual. We have to say sankalpa, declaration of what we are doing, when we are doing, for what we are doing. Um, so all these things and who is doing it, all this. So in that we always say, we are in the Sveta Varaha Kalpa, white Varaha. So many avatars are like that. And all avatars, in fact, Krishna also comes right every day of Brahma. So sometimes there is a slightly different variations in some leelas here and there. Um, there are a few other examples that doesn't immediately come to my mind, but yeah, Buddha. Buddha this time came to stop the animal killing. In a previous Kali Yuga, Buddha came to stop interplanetary travel. At that time, human beings were so advanced in that Kali Yuga, particular Kali. Usually, they are not actually that advanced. That particular Kali Yuga, they were so advanced that, like Elon Musk is now trying and all that, they became expert at going to other planets and even contacting the people there and even attacking those planets. So Buddha came to stop that. It was a different mission of Buddha. But other than Kali Yuga, interplanetary travel has been going on. The demigods can travel anywhere, even now. But Kali Yuga, but one Kali Yuga it was different. This is another Kali Yuga where again the technology is so high again. And this happens for particular reasons. Like in this time, it happened because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission was go sir, Tattvavit dāsa Nagaraadigram. And in fact, if you see the verse in which Narayan asks Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya to preach Mayavad philosophy, he says you preach a philosophy with distorted explanation of the Vedas so that people will become more interested in material advancement. Jagatam Nashakarana, which will lead to their own destruction. So, that Mayavad philosophy actually gives rise to this materialism as well, as much as it tries to negate materialism. But on the flip side, it encourages materialism because for those who are not interested in a void life, they would rather just fully go full throttle into material life. You know, hedonism. Um, so yeah, Kalpabheda is always there. It is called Kalpabheda.
You have to explain to somebody who is fasting on the planet, which one should be.
You can refer to both. But more drama is there in the Hiranyaksha. No, you can tell both, but the thing is, exciting thing is the fight in Hiranyaksha. I mean, at least the details of what we have. Of course, it would be as exciting with the other one also, but we don't have that much detail. Because the Lord does not do anything that is boring. But here there is some drama where there's a fight with but of course you can tell anything. But usually we tell that Hiranyaksha fight because that is more explicitly explained in the Bhagavatam. Okay. Okay, so we'll stop here. जय वराह देव भगवान की जय, भगवद गीता की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। 2 श्रीमद्